there, this is Regina. In this video, I want to review analytical geometry. Let's look at parabolas facing up, facing down, facing right, and facing left. Understand that these points are called vertices. These are vertex points, and I will call each one of them HK. This vertex is HK. And the same goes for this vertex and this vertex. We will use HK for the vertex. Now, somewhere here, some distance from the vertex is the symbol A. That point right there and the point here, these points are known as focal points. And the distance between the vertex and the focal point is A in our equation. So we can get 4 different equations describing 4 different parabolas. If it's x minus h squared is equal to 4a times y minus k, it's a facing up parabola. For facing down, we will have x minus h squared is equal to negative 4a times y minus k. Bear in mind, h and k are the points on the vertex, h being the x and k being the y point. If the parabola is facing right, y minus k squared is equal to 4a times x minus h. If the parabola is facing left, you have y minus k squared is equal to negative 4a times x minus h. Here's a question. Graph and write the equation for the parabola with vertex at the origin. So let's go ahead and sketch out the graph first. And that way we'll know which side it's facing. We know the vertex is 0, 0, and the focus is 5, 0. So this parabola had to be facing right. And we will use the right-facing equation. And the right-facing equation, I will rewrite it here. It's y minus k squared is equal to 4a x minus h. So if this point is 5, 0, we know that a is 5. That's a equals 5. So we can simply go ahead and replace 0. The vertex, as you know, is 0, 0. So h is 0 and k is 0. So y minus 0 squared is equal to 4 times 5 x minus 0. Simplify this, you will get y squared is equal to 20x. Here's another question. Focus is negative 1/2, 0. Again, you want to sketch it out. Negative 1/2, 0 is probably here somewhere. Vertex is still 0, 0, so it's a left-facing parabola. And the equation for the left-facing parabola is y minus k squared is equal to negative 4a x minus h. And this point is negative 1/2, 0. So you know that a is a positive half. So you can plug in y minus 0 squared is equal to negative 4 times 1/2 times x minus 0. Simplifying this, you will get y squared is equal to negative 2x. Okay, the next concept is the directrix. What is directrix? So let's go ahead and look at a parabola. Let's just go ahead and look at a left-facing parabola. And if the focus is at negative 2, 0, then the directrix would be an equidistant on the other side of the vertex. So here's your vertex, HK, and this is the distance between the vertex and the focus, and the distance between the directrix and the vertex is equal to the distance between the vertex and the focal point. That the directrix, which is the equation, is equal to x is x is equal to positive 2. Okay, let's consider this question here. What is the equation of a parabola when the directrix is y is equal to -1/4? The first thing you want to do is sketch it out, and you're given that the vertex is 0, so let's just say the vertex is 0, and that's given. The y is equal to -1/4, so this is my directrix line right here. Now, because this distance is 1/4, you know that an equidistance up here is going to give you the focal point. In this case, it'll be 0, +1/4. And because the focal point is inside the parabola, and this is the vertex, it follows that it is an up-facing parabola. And we have all the information we need. So first, write the equation for the up-facing parabola. So let's go ahead and collect all our information. Vertex is 0, 0, so h is 0 and k is 0. Directrix was y equals -1/4. That tells us that it is 1/4 length away from the vertex. So a is also the same distance on the other side. So a is equal to 1/4. I know it is an up-facing parabola because I want my focal point to be inside the parabola, and that's the only way I can draw it. Here's the general equation for up-facing parabola. It's x minus h squared is equal to 4a times y minus k. We can simplify this to x squared is equal to positive, so y is equal to x squared is the equation. Here's another question. Write an equation for the parabola where the directrix is y is equal to 1/3 and the vertex is 0, 0. Again, sketch out your graph and let's plot out our directrix as well. Again, you have your x and y axes here. Sketch out your directrix, which is a line. Y is equal to 1/3, and this is your vertex. You know your focal point is going to be on the other side of the vertex, and it'll also be the same distance, which is 1/3. And this parabola has to be a facing down parabola. That's the only way you can get the focal point inside the parabola. So let's go ahead and write down the equation for the parabola that opens down. X minus h squared is equal to -4a y minus k. We know h is equal to 0. We know k is equal to 0. We know a is equal to 1/3. So the equation would be x minus 0 squared is equal to -4 times 1/3 times y minus 0. Simplify this, x squared is equal to -4/3 y. And you can solve for y if you like. You can say y is equal to -3/4 x squared. Either one of these equations should work. What if you get a question where you know the vertex is 0, 0, but you don't know the directrix or the focal point, but you know that the graph will go through one point, which is √3, 3. That's the only thing you know. And you are told that it is opening up. And that's a very useful piece of information. In the previous problems, you were not told whether it's opening up or opening down, but your focal point and directrix told you how to sketch the graph. This time you're already told that it's opening up, so you don't really need to know your focal point. So let's just go ahead and plot this graph out, and it's going to look something like this. It's always nice to have a visual. So because it's opening up, we already know the equation. It will be x minus h squared is equal to 4 times a, and you don't know a this time, y minus k. So h again is 0, k is 0. So the equation will simplify to x squared is equal to 4 times ay. Because you know x and y point, you can plug in the x point. You know the x point is square root of 3 and the y point is 3. This is going backwards. Let me fix this one. You know the x point is square root of 3 and the y point is 3. So square root of 3 squared is equal to 4a, y is 3. 3 is equal to 4 times 3 times a. 3 is equal to 12a. You know that a is equal to 3 divided by 12, which is a is equal to 1 over 4. Now you can figure out what the equation is. It's x squared is equal to 4 times 1 over 4 y. X squared is equal to y, or y is equal to x squared. Okay, here's another question. There's a parabola that is opening left, the vertex is 0, 0, and it is going through a point -2, -2 root 2. So I want to sketch out my graph. It's always nice to have a visual. It is opening left. I know that the vertex is 0, 0, so it's a pretty good bet that it's going to look like this. And it's going through a point -2, -2 root 2. And the x value is -2, the y value is -2 root 2. The general equation for a parabola that is opening left is y minus k squared is equal to -4a x minus h. K and h are 0, so this would simplify to y squared is equal to -4a x. We have an x and y point here, so -2 root 2 squared is equal to -4 times a times -2. Plug in -2 root 2 for y and -2 for x. Simplify this. -2 squared is 4. 4 times root 2 squared, which is 2, is 8. And you get positive 8. -2 times -4 gives you positive 8. A. Solving for a, you get 1. So now you have all your information. And the equation for this parabola will be y equals -4 times 1 x. And that's your final answer. Given an equation x squared is equal to 24y, and you're asked to find the focus, which is the a, and the directrix, you can utilize your knowledge that the number here is actually some multiple of 4. So you can pull out a 4 here and rewrite the equation as x squared is equal to 4ay, and you can deduce that a will have to be 6. 4 times 6y, because 6 times 4 gives you 24. So you know that a is equal to 6. Now it is understood that h and k are 0, so the vertex is 0. So the vertex is 0, 0. You know that it's facing up because it's x squared is equal to some number, some multiple of 4 times y. And you will also know that the focus would be 0, 6. And since the distance between vertex and focus is equal to the distance between vertex and the directrix, you can get the equation for your directrix, which would be y is equal to -6 in this case. If you're given an equation y squared is equal to -4x, square is on the y and there's a negative here, so this is a left-facing parabola. and the vertex is 0, 0. Otherwise, you would have y minus a number k and x minus a number h. So since it's not given, we assume it's 0. So it's a left-facing parabola. And let's rewrite this equation as some multiple of 4 times a x. And you know that a is equal to 1. And because from the general equation, by matching the given equation to the general equation, we determined that it's a left-facing parabola. So since the focal point will have to be inside the parabola, your focal point would be negative 1, 0. The actual distance between the vertex and the focal point is 1. So equidistant on the other side of the vertex is going to be your directrix running along the y-axis. So x is equal to 1. So your directrix is x is equal to 1. Your focal point is negative 1, 0. And this is what the sketch of the graph would look like. I'll do one more. X is equal to negative 32y squared. This problem is a little different. We want to rearrange it so that it looks like y minus k squared is equal to some multiple of 4 times, it's a negative here, 4 times a, the focal length, x. And so let's go ahead and rearrange this one here. So let's go ahead and say y squared is equal to negative 1 over 32 x. So this time I'm actually going to physically write the 0. So this is squared is equal to negative 4 times some value that I don't know yet times x minus 0. So you know that your vertex is 0, 0. So it follows that y squared is equal to negative 4 times 1 over, if you multiply 32 by 4, you'll get 128 x. So you know a is equal to 1 over 128. So let's go ahead and sketch this out and see what it looks like. It's a left-facing parabola. Vertex is 0, 0. And this would be negative 1 over 128, 0. So your directrix will be equidistant from the vertex on the other side behind the parabola, and your directrix is x is equal to positive 1 over 128. Okay, hope this discussion of the parabola was helpful. I'll see you again. Thanks. Goodbye.